All right, Cancer, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for November 23rd through the 29th. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, very different from mainstream astrology, which you can find more about down below. All right, Cancer, so a very important week astrologically. We got a lot going on. One is a full moon taking place here in your 11th house. We've also got Saturn squaring up to Neptune exact, as well as Mercury and the Sun going over Saturn, activating that, and a couple other things which I'll talk about. So a lot going on. A lot of it does have to do with this Saturn squaring up to Neptune, that uncertainty about the future. That's going to go exact on Thursday. So the key with this, like I've been saying, is to have the willingness to constructively work towards the future, even though there's doubts or uncertainty with that. And likewise, if it's been very dense, it's having faith and trust in the process. Now, this is involving your 5th house of self-expression, anything involving romance, creativity, children, entrepreneurship, pretty much anything we create in life. And, uncertainty with that. And then also with the deeper aspects of life, with what's really meaningful. Healing, transformation, a lot of that this week. So constructive movement and being open to being guided by the universal flow of things is the key with this. And the full moon is going to be forming that T-square with it. So with this illumination, this is an illumination of your 11th house, which is everything group related. It could be groups. It could be progressive. It could be anything that you consider an ideal for the future or for others. So a lot of that's being magnified. A lot of that could also be coming to a culmination if you've been starting anything new over the past 6 months involving this. And it's, and through that awareness, it can help us understand more about how to implement constructively these ideals or organizational things with this constructive path of the future. So that's going to be a high point. Now, Mars is trining up to this. In fact, Mars is a very benefic planet this week. Trining up to that full moon is motivation, is drive. This is a type of intellectual motivation, with Mars and Venus could be enjoying the more reading, writing, sharing, maybe even socializing energy. So all of that looks quite good this week, all things being considered. There is an opposition Monday and Tuesday, so keep everything nice and grounded with that. Venus will be opposing up to Uranus, but as long as there's nothing too rash, too sudden, it's a great way to implement more freedom with your communication and self-expression this week. So in the big picture, though, this square is about constructive energy. It's a very Saturnian week. So it's about taking it nice and slow. During that same full moon, Mercury goes over Saturn on Wednesday. So especially when it comes to the thinking, when it comes to the communicating, when it comes to the reading, writing and stuff, take it slow, take it seriously. There's a lot of productive energy coming in from Mars to do that, which is good, and a good way to assert yourself, perhaps vocally. But do take that patient approach with Saturn, because Mercury does rule that 3rd house of yours. So, and everything spiritual too. If you've been thinking about maybe getting some alone time, doing some of that meditation, it could be a good week with Mercury over Saturn. So that's going to be that. And with the, again, uncertainty of the mind, it's, through that grounded energy of slowly building and having that patience, I think will help work with that energies. So that's going to be about midweek. Then over the weekend, we do have Chiron going station direct here in that 8th house. So there is healing taking place this weekend and into next, involving those deeper relationships or the deeper connections to life, that deep involvement, seeing what's really meaningful to us, what do we really value in life. And so a great time to sort of pause and reflect on that over the weekend. And then the Sun does go over Saturn over the weekend. So there is that serious focus and uncertainty as well. So the key with all of this is, I think it's a great week to take it slow, take it steady. Saturn here, be patient. Don't see things worse than how they actually are. I've been saying this to a few of the other signs because it's Mercury over Saturn. Okay, and see it and take the reality of it. See what's really going on, what's really there, and be willing to build it, be willing to work with it, be patient with it, even though we don't exactly know how everything's unfolding, and being open to that faith and that there's this universal guidance guiding us in the process, because it is there. All right, so that's going to be the high point, as well as this awareness of your ideals, what's really important to you in terms of maybe the community, the organization that you're a part of, if any, anything that involves, the things that you might consider your passions to some regards, or your friends even as well. Could be a culminating point with that. So it's always a mixed energy of the week, but this week certainly has its challenging aspect, and I would say certainly with that Saturn squaring up to Neptune is the thing. But through this, it can be very, very constructive, and like I've been saying, it's an excellent time to really make strides towards these visions that we've had over the past many years. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to say too is that the sun is shifting into Scorpio this week also. So I think there'll just naturally be more of a focus in terms of what are your passions? What are you excited about? What are your hobbies? These kinds of things. And with Saturn here, it's perhaps taking it quite seriously and maybe even turning it into something productive. But that's an excellent way of working with Saturn in the 5th house, even though it sometimes feels quite restrictive in terms of our ability to express ourselves. All right, so that's going to be a shift into more of the focus, but the sun does love to be in that 5th house. There is a lot to express, a lot to create this week through that productive, perhaps, approach to it. All right, Cancer, so have a great one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Take care.